Whoa, it's the Illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. I just got done with a mountain bike ride. Super nice. Met a couple locals afterwards, gave me some tips on some places to ride, which was nice. So it's funny, there's all these loops out there, and the guy was like, yeah, they're unsanctioned. They're not official. I was like, and he's like, yeah, there's one dude around here who's the full magic trail elf. Dude, the trails are pretty fun out here, man. But I was out there, and I'm thinking about it, right? I'm riding, and I'm thinking, and I'm thinking about, like, it seemed like when I was younger, right? When I was younger, back in the day, that there definitely were less rules. Not to say that there weren't rules, but the rules were like a different kind of like rule-based system, right? Like when I was younger, and I can't imagine what it must have been like. So I was, like a kid. I was born in 1969, so I was like, I was like the prime kid years were like, the 80s, right? The 80s. And then, the 90s, I'm in my 20s by then, right? But, those teen years of doing what you want, didn't seem like there were like a lot of like rules. It was pretty much a different rule matrix in the sense of like it was the right and wrongs. It was sort of caveman technology. And then as I've grown up, it's become way more of this like sanctioned rule thing. And what I was tripping for about like riding was like, there's this thing now where like people who are my age, especially like my generation, have made up all these new rules. And they're sort of like, we made all these rules for ourselves. And everybody has to like live within it, right? And it's just sort of a wonky idea I'm trying to like articulate. So like, and I got to back it up to like maybe another analogy or something is so when they made cars, right? Like, so the cars, there was, the cars came, right? The cars came. And then, so the cars came and they used to ride down the old horse trails and stuff. So then they were like, we need to make roads, dude, the tarmac, the like actual roads to drive the cars on, right? Like roads. And then once they had the roads, they decided they needed like rules, right? Like, you drive on one side of the road and then they needed like the signs for the signs and lines after that, stop signs and like lines on the road. And then they needed enforcement, right? And then they needed enforcement. So there was a time when you could drive and there's no one out there bugging you, dude. I mean, you were definitely, I think about it even like when I was younger, like people were still drinking and driving. Like it wasn't even like when I was young, it's when Mothers Against Drunk Drivers started their whole thing. Like when I was like young, coming out of the 70s, dude, there wasn't even seatbelts. I remember helmet laws coming into effect and like all sorts of like, so I've seen this proliferation of rules and laws in my lifetime. And I was tripping out on just the people that want to make these rules. And there's a lot of them. Like I think about it like in surfing. Now switching my zone. Went from cars to surfing to mountain biking, right? I'm trying to figure this out. So in surfing, right? When I grew up in surfing, it was the rules were the jungle, man. Respect your elders. Don't get, and the consequences for not following the basic rules of etiquette were, you got donuts, you got socked up, you got gurgled, you got pounded, brah. Consequences, right? And so now those rules were straight, like serious, and for like good reasons, man, like real rules. And now in surfing, it's like all the rules are like sort of equity based. There's like these weird rules, like everybody's got to get along. So like the jungle rules don't apply. You know what I'm saying? Like the real rules of like human consciousness and right and wrong and strength and power and all those kind of rules, the dominant human like rules have been replaced by these weird like equalizer rules, I guess equity rules, and to even switch it again, right? So I heard something to say is like, they were declaring like the war in Ukraine is an illegal war by Russia, like an illegal war, right? Like, well, the inverse of that is that like there's like legal wars, right? Like it's legal to have war, and that's what I mean is like there's no rules in war. So how can a war be legal anyhow? Like it's like, I don't know what I'm getting at is just this weird, I mean, I guess it's that thing. Would you wear your helmet if no one was enforcing it, right? I mean, I would never get in a car without a seatbelt. But once upon a time, like, you had to be forced to wear a seatbelt. It's just so weird. I don't get the whole rule thing, man. So that's like the thing, right? Like when I was young, like seatbelts were relatively, like I remember, what was the Ralph Nader and the whole seatbelts and the whole thing, right? And now, like, I would never get in a car without a seatbelt, like, and it makes, like, why wouldn't you wear your seatbelt? But it's that thing, like they just made some rule, and I just, like, put my seatbelt on and don't even think about it, right? And it's like that thing, and again, it's not intuitive because when Owl switched from his, like, into his booster seat from his like regular like full buckle up seat, like I had to convince him why he had to wear, I had to explain to him why he had to wear a seatbelt, right? But there was a whole window there where he was like, why would I need to wear a seatbelt? I need to be able to climb around the car back here. And I'm like, no, dude, like, no. I don't really know what I'm getting at. I was just sort of tripping, riding my bike out there without any rules, wondering why there were rules and who's the one who makes the rules, right? Because I suppose, like, I'm just asking myself if I want to make rules. Do I want to be a rule maker? I mean, yeah, there's rules, right? I have all sorts of rules, like close the door, dude, in the garage when you're in the, don't, yeah, it's funny when I think about it as like an adult on my own. I'm like, F the man, dude, the rule makers and that stuff. And then I think about it as a dad, and I'm like, yeah, of course there's rules. Like, there's got to be rules, dude. You got to keep your kids safe and the house safe. And, you know, it's like we've been starting to use our fireplace, right? There's full rules. I was like, Owl, you're not allowed to open the fireplace, dude. But he's like, but why? And I go, because, dude, like, you don't understand the danger of the fireplace yet, dude. You're not qualified to open the fireplace. He's like, but it was like, so I think about it now and I'm like, of course. So like in my own mini world, right? I make up rules all the time, dude. You gotta live by my rules, son. And then as an adult, I'm like, who are these people making rules? And then I go, well, I kind of don't need rules. But then again, the reason I don't need rules is because, like, I do live by a certain, like, law of the jungle, if you know what I mean. Like, I get the basic concept. But then someone figured out 16 on center. Wasn't me. I take for granted 16 on center. Ah, there's Al kicking his... What, is he breaking the rules? Hey, Owl, are you breaking any rules? No, stop breaking any rules.